Hello, fellow diamond painting addicts, and welcome back to Diamond Painting Anonymous. I'm Daphne, and I'm here today for this week's WIP and Chat. If you're new here, welcome. If you're not new here, welcome back. WIP, WIP, stands for Work in Progress, and this is mine. You are welcome and encouraged to go grab whatever you are working on and work alongside while I chat. Or alternatively, you can treat this as a podcast and just listen while I chat. Let me apologize ahead of time. This is likely going to be another long, rambly WIP and Chat, so apologies in advance if you have trouble following my train of thought. Don't worry, you're not alone. I often have trouble following it myself. Okay, I'm going to zoom in to where I'm going to be working and I will be right back. I've got everything going. I've got my notes, I've got my timer going, and I'm good to go, I think. Okay, so what's going on in my regular life? Well, we moved the youngest out of the rental earlier this week. We went back, got everything. He had so much more than I thought. It wasn't just because he had a lot of things, but also because he'd been living there. So all the stuff in the bathroom, toiletries and things, and then all the stuff that was in the fridge and freezer, and all of the food that, we had left there because he was staying there. So our refrigerator here is now completely full. So hopefully our grocery shopping will be a lot less this week, which would be nice now that we're all at one place and I'm not buying groceries for two different places. And he didn't have a whole lot, but between his computer and his clothes and everything else, it took us 3 trips, which I thought we could do it all in one, but that was not true. We also went back and cleaned everything up so that we can get our security deposit back because that would be nice. A little bit extra money back in our pockets. And now we won't be paying for the rental on top of everything else, so that will be nice as well. We had a really bad windstorm. I say really bad because a lot of people had damage around here. Luckily, we didn't. And for someone who grew up in Kansas, it was not super windy. It was just a good blustery day in Kansas. But I guess people around here are not used to it blowing that much. And there were a lot of people who had shingles come off. Luckily, we were not one of them, so we don't have to worry about that at least. Because the day after the big windstorm, it rained. So everybody was scrambling to try and get repairs done or at least get things tarped up before it started raining. Even some of the churches had shingles missing, and one of the apartment buildings, it's more like an apartment strip. It's just a row of like 10 apartments. They were angled opposite our house. Our house faces west. These faced north. Almost one whole side, the north facing side of the roof shingles blew off. So I was super happy that we didn't have to worry about that. That would not have been good. Yeah, we've lived here for 2 months and we already need to file an insurance claim. So dodge that bullet. We had some good news this week, we thought. This has been another exercise in frustration. So when we moved from the States, we sold our house. When we bought our house, it had an empty lot next to it, and we bought the empty lot and just used it as our yard. And it had an extra driveway in it that didn't go to anywhere. There was no house on it or anything, it was just trees. But that was a place our kids parked their cars, so everybody wasn't parked in the driveway and we could all get out for work and whatnot. When we sold our house, we sold it and the lot separately because the realtor thought we would make more money that way. I don't know if that's the way it worked out, but we listed the lot separately. Well, the people that bought the house wanted to buy the lot, but they didn't want, for whatever reason, they wanted to wait until this year to buy it because we sold the house last October. We said, okay. They said they would take care of mowing it and shoveling snow if that was necessary and whatever. So essentially it would be theirs, but we wouldn't officially close on it until April. And we were moving up here anyway, and we're like, is that going to be a problem? No, no, no. The realtor assured us we could just sign all the documents via, DocuSign. They would just email them to us and whatever we needed to do. Okay, cool. So we were supposed to close the beginning of April, and it rolls around. Well, they want to extend it now until almost the end of April. We were like, okay, whatever. Not a big deal. So the realtor sent us the documents. We signed them on that email, DocuSign, VeriSign, whatever it's called, sent them back, no problem. As we're approaching the closing date, we start getting information from the title company. The title company lady is like, okay, I need to send you these documents. You have to go get them notarized and then send them back to me FedEx. I've got to have the originals. Okay. So we just need to find a notary. So we called the lawyer that we used when we closed on our house here. She's also a notary. She's familiar with real estate documents. And she's like, oh, yeah, I do this for people all the time. Come in. We made an appointment. We went in. Well, before we went in, we get these frantic emails from the title company that somebody, and we never did figure out who exactly, had told them that they had to have something called an apostille acknowledgement because we are physically in Canada. And they're like, your notary should know what that is. They have to provide it, blah, blah, blah. And we're like, okay, we've never heard of this. Don't have any clue what it is. Don't know why we need it, but okay, whatever. Another hoop to jump through. So we get to the office. The lawyer's running behind. Her assistant isn't there. And she's like, we called all around. We've never heard of whatever this is. The assistant called around to a bunch of other law offices where we are to see if they knew what it was. None of them knew what it was. They're like, we've never heard of it. Don't know why it would be required. And we're like, well, we don't really know what it is. They told us you would know what it is and you'd be able to provide it. So then ensued much frantic internet searching. The first thing we found was that notaries can't issue this document themselves. It has to be done by someone else. And it's something about that document is basically if you want to use Canadian documents in another country, then Canada would verify the documents, the government of Canada, or Canada's Global Affairs Office. So we called the Global Affairs Office. And they're like, if you need it for something, they didn't even really ask any questions. They're like, yeah, we could do it, but it takes 5 weeks. And we're like, our closing is in 2 days. So that didn't work. So then the lawyer and hubby and I were doing some more searching. They had told us it was because Canada is part of the Hague Convention. Canada joined it in 2024. So what that means is it's supposed to streamline it so you don't need these acknowledgments, right? And we're like, we shouldn't need them anyway because you're sending us documents from the US. Canada won't verify them because they're US documents. And they're like, well, you have to call the consulate. Can you go to an embassy or a consulate? We're like, we're not anywhere near a US consulate or an embassy. The lawyer is like, I don't know what this is. Let's just go ahead and sign these and we'll send them and we'll see what they say. Because at that point, we had a couple of days until we actually needed everything. So we call. And in the meantime, I found something that says because Canada is now part of this agreement, we shouldn't need them. And also, they're US documents. We just happen to be in Canada signing them. As long as they're notarized, it shouldn't be a big deal. We go home with our notarized documents from the lawyer, which we get to pay for. We get to pay her hourly rate for her spending however long it was, like 45 minutes with us. So Lord knows what that bill was going to be. And then hubby spent the day on the phone trying to figure out how we were supposed to do this. He had called Global Affairs. They said 5 weeks. We're like, well, we don't have 5 weeks. And they're like, we'll try. There was a consulate in Halifax. Call them and see if you can make an appointment to go there. Okay. My husband calls, gets a hold of somebody, and she says, well, you can make an appointment online. Here's this website, go to this and make an appointment. So he goes to try and make an appointment, and every single day for the next year and a half is grayed out. You can't make an appointment. So he sends an email and says, is something wrong with the calendar? I don't understand, blah, blah, blah. Well, we get an email back from them, from the US consulate, mind you, saying we don't make those appointments anymore for these acknowledgments because Canada joined the Hague Convention last year, which means these are no longer required. And that if we needed something notarized, that we could do some kind of Zoom meeting with a notary in the States. You can verify the documents and have it notarized that way. So whoever's notarizing it is in the States, and we're here and it's no big deal. So hubby has been communicating all of this information to the person at the title company, who is as clueless as we are about why any of this is necessary, what any of it is even is. And she basically was like, look, I got told I had to have this because you guys are in Canada. I'm just doing what I'm told. They told me I had to have this. The people telling her that we had to have it didn't have any idea for how we were supposed to get it either. And I'm like, you guys told us to go to the consulate. We have an email from the consulate saying we don't need this document, and that's why they don't do those appointments anymore. Well, that still wasn't good enough, which hilarious to me. You know, it's not like it was coming from the government of Canada. It was the US consulate saying this. So the upshot of all of that is they were going to throw a shoe if we had anything done notarized in Canada. And we're like, so we get to make a trip into the States, across the border, and find a notary in the States to get this all signed. And then we have to pay to FedEx it overnight to the title company because it's now taken so long trying to figure out how to do all of this that our deadline is the next day. So hubby and I get up super early, make the 5-hour drive across the border, breeze through because nobody was there. There were, I think, like 3 or 4 trucks in line, but there was only one car ahead of us, and that was all. And I mean, we weren't there during rush hour or anything, so I wasn't surprised that there wasn't a big line or anything. And it was the middle of the week, so breezed through. We ended up going to a city in Maine. The town hall said they would notarize it for us. She had to take photocopies of our driver's licenses. Meanwhile, we're on the phone with the title lady and sending emails back and forth like, these are going to be our Canadian driver's licenses. That's okay, right? It's okay that they're not US. Yeah, that's fine. I'm like, good gravy. So she notarizes everything, and then we're like, okay, we have to send it via FedEx. Well, we just assumed there would be a FedEx office in this town, and there wasn't. There's a drop-off spot, but there's no actual office. And we're like, crap, we don't have an envelope because it was getting sent overnight. So we had to have an overnight envelope. So the notary lady was like, here, let me go look in the back. We might have one. And she thankfully had an overnight envelope that she just gave to us. There was a drop-off spot at the local Walgreens. So we go over to the local Walgreens, get everything sent off, cross our fingers that what we did was enough. Called the title company lady and said, okay, here's what we did. It's on the way. It should be there first thing in the morning. And she's like, okay, I'm so sorry for all of this. And we're like, we were telling the lady that was notarizing it, yeah, we just spent 5 hours on the road to drive here because they wouldn't let us notarize it in Canada. And she's like, why not? We're like, we don't know. She's like, we do it all the time. I'm like, yeah, so we've heard. But apparently, our little county seat in the middle of nowhere, Kansas, decided that they had to have it either done by someone in the US or we had to provide this document that doesn't exist anymore. So hubby and I just turned it into a little trip. We got there, got the documents notarized, sent them off via FedEx, and then I was like, okay, it's noon. Let's go eat. Is there any place in this town to eat? We found an IHOP. It wasn't haute cuisine or anything like that, but it was really good. I had an order of biscuits and gravy, something I have not had since we left the States because biscuits and gravy does not exist here in Canada. The only gravy they know how to make is brown gravy, apparently. I have never seen cream gravy on anything, at least where I am. So we ate at IHOP. I had some biscuits and gravy. It was really good. Still too far north to get any sweet tea, but that's okay. After we got done eating, hubby filled up the gas because we used like half a tank just getting there. So that was another expense to having to do all of that. Oh, and just in case you guys are interested, gas here was $1.34 a liter. And when we got to Maine, it was $2.84 a gallon. So I thought, how much is that? So first of all, how many liters are in a gallon? 3.785 in case you're curious. So $1.34 times that No, that times $1.34 is $5.07 Canadian. So if I take $5.07 Canadian times 0.72, which is the exchange rate when I look this all up, that would be 365 a gallon US dollars that we're paying here in Canada. So a dollar more a gallon, which sounds like a lot, but also gas is probably way more than 2.84 a gallon in other places in the States. I should ask my daughter and see what she's been paying, although she might be paying less in gas here shortly because the school year is about to end in a month or so. Ooh, I should ask her if they had to add on any days for all the snow days they had to take. I don't think they did. I think she told me before they didn't have to add any on, but I can't remember. I've slept since then. Anyway, so we filled up the car with gas in preparation for the 5-hour return trip. And we decided since we were in town that we would stop at the local Walmart and pick up some stuff that we just can't get in Canada. For whatever reason, it always seems so hit and miss to me about why certain things are available here or not available here. It doesn't seem to make any rhyme or reason. Like, I understand if there's additives in it or something that they don't allow in Canada, but some of the stuff just seems bizarre. So we ended up we went to Walmart. My son really likes this black cherry gum. I think it's icebreakers or something. It's got like the little flavor crystals in it. And they have it here, but never in that flavor. So I found it when we were at Walgreens dropping off the FedEx package. Pick some of that up. And then we went to Walmart because hubby would have spent all day just looking around stuff in the Walgreens if I'd let him. And I'm like, I don't want to be here all day. I want to get back home. I've got stuff I got to do. So we went to the Walmart and we went to try and find some things we can't normally find. They didn't have any of hubby's Italian sweet cream creamer. We forgot to look for Dorothy Lynch salad dressing, which I'm doing fine without, but my son and I like to put it on whenever my hubby makes turkey and stuffing and we have mashed potatoes. My son and I like to put it on our mashed potatoes, which may sound gross, but if you've never done it, you should try it because it tastes so good. And Dorothy Lynch isn't available everywhere in the States even, but I forgot to look for it, so I'll have to do that next time. We were looking for some sort of, I don't know if it's Japanese or Korean barbecue. We found it once upon a time, which we thought we'd found at one of the stores here in town, but we haven't found it again. So hubby and I were thinking maybe we bought it on our last trip to the States, but we went into Bangor, so I don't know if that's actually where we got it or if we got it somewhere else, but anyway, couldn't find that. But I did find my zero sugar sweet tea. So they didn't have any of the big jugs like I usually get, but I did get a couple, I got 2 6-packs, so won't last forever. I've already halfway through one of them, but that's okay. It's nice just to have it every once in a while. We got some Chick-fil-A sauce for my son because for whatever reason you can't get that here either. I bought some packages of country gravy mix so that I could make myself some biscuits and gravy. I know I could make the gravy from scratch, but I am not that great of a cook, and buying a mix seems easier. Oh, also, another staple that I just took for granted, the local stores here do not carry the Jiffy corn muffin mix. Is that a regional thing that it's not here in Canada? Does it exist in other places in Canada? Another one of those things that I just took for granted was everywhere. Like, I don't think I've ever been in a grocery store in America that didn't have Jiffy muffin mix. So I found a couple of those and just bought those because now I have a place to have a pantry. So if at some point we decide to make chili or something and I want some cornbread, and again, I know I could make it from scratch, but I am not that good of a cook. It's easier sometimes just to have a mix and be able to do it that way. It has been nice to have a pantry though, so that I can put things in the pantry. Last time we bought groceries, I bought extra canned goods, sauces, vegetables, tuna fish, that sort of thing, because now I have a place to put everything instead of just one dinky little cabinet in the rental, because all of the other cabinets were filled up with pots and pans and baking dishes. And I mean, I'm sure things that are useful for the family that owns the place when they stay there, but not helpful for us as long-term renters. So, I mean, it was helpful to have some of that stuff, but Honestly, we probably didn't use 90% of it. I think we made a pie at Thanksgiving. I think that's it. We might have made some more stuff. We did cook a Christmas dinner, so I'm sure we used some of it then, but anyway, was an interesting trip. And then once we got all the stuff at Walmart, we turned around and headed back home. And we breezed right through on the way back here as well. Didn't have any issues. I think I mostly played on my iPad on the way home, where I read while hubby drove. Saw several deer, no moose, but one of these days I'll see one. I saw one on the highway the last time, but it was at a distance, so my brother-in-law told me I need to come over and go walking with him when he takes his dog for a walk in the morning. He's like, there's one around here and we see it almost every day, or every time they go for a walk. And I was like, well, he's like, yeah, but you got to be up here by 8:30. And I was like, I don't know if that's going to happen. Go out trekking through the woods just on the off chance that I'm going to see one. Might be worth it. We'll see. All right, what else? Oh, you guys, I keep forgetting to tell you that I made a dopamine menu. I think I was calling it a dopamine journal. I think everybody calls it a menu. Basically, it ends up looking like a menu, and I'll throw a picture of it up there. This is just a template I found on Canva, and then I turned it into, because it's a menu, it has appetizers, starters, etc. And then I just added in the things that I wanted to add into it. So the point of it being like a menu is that, of course, different things take different amounts of time. So things that are like really quick ones can be appetizers or starters. Mains are things that take a little bit longer. Desserts are things that maybe take a little bit longer. So I sat down and just kind of added in things that I thought would be things that I would do personally. So like whenever I feel like I needed to get a break, but I don't know what to do with myself, I can pull this out and be like, what sounds good? Do I want to watch some TV? Do I want to organize something? Do I want to bake something? Do I want to go for a walk? Do I want to listen to some music? All different kinds of things. So yeah, if you guys, any of you have made one for yourselves, what sort of things are on yours? Just curious, because I can always add to mine. Reading a book and playing games on my iPad are kind of my go-tos for when I need a brain break. But I wanted to come up with some things that didn't take quite that long, because if I get engrossed in a book, then I don't want to put it down and go back to whatever I was doing. And same with playing my games. I'll be playing my games and then I'll look up and it's like half an hour or an hour later. It's like, whoops, didn't mean to play that long. I think we might finally be done with winter here. I don't think they've officially said that we're past like any frost warnings, but it's been raining the last couple of days. So I think the snow is over, so maybe I'll actually get to see what spring in Canada is like. It still isn't very warm outside, but at least most of the snow is melted. There's still some snow here and there, but most of it is melted. We've still got a couple of piles in the yard where it was pretty deep, but like out in the front where the snow plow throws everything in our yard from the street, that is all melted. So the giant wall of snow that was in front of the house is now gone. So that's good. So I told you hubby and I went over and we cleaned up part of the rental house. We still have to go back and do a little bit more. There was so much laundry that I was like, you know what? Their little combo machine takes like 4 hours to do a load of towels. I'm just gonna bring them to my house and do like one load and put it in our washing machine and our separate dryer, and everything will be done in like an hour. And I probably don't have to wash all of these, but there was a lot. I didn't really do a last load of laundry before hubby and I just moved everything into the house. The youngest, he kind of kept up with his own stuff, but he didn't really look at anything downstairs, which had been where we were, so just ended up being a lot. So I was like, no, I'm going to do this the fast way. So I'm currently running everything through our machine. And I don't know if there's some rules, they're renting it out to other people, if they have to wash it and stuff. I'm not going to wash everything, but there was enough left that I was like, I don't want to leave all of this for them to do. It'll take them 4 days to wash everything in that little washer dryer combo. So maybe they're going to end up doing it anyway. I don't know, but I wanted to do it. So since we were cleaning everything out, hubby's like, well, let's go forward our mail. We have a mailbox at the post office for the new house. And he's like, let's just forward everything from the rental. And I'm like, okay. I wanted to wait to do it. I have something that's supposed to be arriving at that address and it hasn't come yet. But at this point, I'm like, whatever. When we forwarded our mail in the States, you just go to the post office, tell them you're moving, and you can forward your mail up to a year. No big deal. So I was like, okay, yeah, let's go do that. So hubby goes in to check. We were checking our post office box here at the new house. I said, can you do it for all three of us? Or does my youngest need to go in and do his himself? So he went in and checked. No, he could do it for all of us because we all live together. Okay, cool. And he's like, yeah, but it's 60 some dollars for 4 months, or it's 100 and some dollars for a year. And I was like, what? They charge us to forward our mail? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, okay. Just weird things like that. Like, it never occurred to me that we would have to pay for it because I've never had to do that before. Of course, I didn't realize everyone here pays every month to have a bank account either, because that's something that, I mean, it used to be a thing in the States, but not, gosh, for almost 20 years, I think. We've never had a bank account since then that we had to actually pay for to use it. Just seems crazy. Ooh, looks like there's going to be some nice multi-placing in this. So we get these in here. And then everything is just the finish of the border and the green of her shirt. So we've got the youngest moved in here. So we're all situated now. We've got our mail forwarded, finished the laundry from the rental, and then we're good to go. I am a little anxious because the youngest and I have dental appointments on Monday. It is just an exam and some x-rays, but I'm nervous because we normally would have had our teeth cleaned in December. Of course, that fell after the move, and so we haven't been able to get in. I did actually find somewhere else. My in-laws gave us an appointment, or gave me the name of some person. So the hygienist that they use, apparently when I called, she was on vacation, which is why I hadn't heard back from her. She called back and could get us in May for a cleaning, so I went ahead and made that appointment. I don't know if that's weird to go one place for your exam and then someplace else for your cleaning, but since this place that we're going for the exam told me they didn't have an opening until next March of 2026, I figured we might as well go to this other place and get our teeth cleaned. At least they will have been cleaned while we wait, because the dentist that we're going to the exam for is in the town where we live. The lady that's going to do the cleaning, we have to drive to another town, which is like 40 minutes away, which is not a big deal. It's not any different than us driving into the big town we lived next to in Kansas and going into the city for our dental care there, because our dentist was in the big city. But I really liked my old dentist. So, like I said, I have generalized dental anxiety anyway, so fingers crossed they don't find anything that we need to have done. I haven't noticed any issues, so crossing my fingers, I don't need anything. We were up at the in-laws for dinner last week. My mother-in-law said that today is her 68th wedding anniversary. So they've been married 68 years, which seems crazy to me, just because of the amount of years, not that they stayed together that long. So fingers crossed, mother-in-law is going to visit father-in-law today, that he is having a good day, because earlier when my husband went to go see him this week, he was kind of cranky. All right, so what else has been going on? I think that's all for my regular life. So what's been going on in my diamond painting life? Truth be told, not a whole lot. So I didn't have a video go out on Tuesday because Monday was the day that we moved the youngest out of the rental, and it just took a lot longer than I thought, and it took a lot out of me, and I just didn't have the energy to film after we got done moving everything. But my vacuum pen finally arrived. It took, I want to say it took over a month to get here. I don't know if that's true or not, but it feels like it took forever. If you haven't seen the unboxing, I'll stick a link up so you can check that out. It was not what I was expecting. I mean, it was and it wasn't. I wasn't expecting anything terribly life-altering or anything, but I was curious to see how it worked. Disappointed when I opened it up because, one, it doesn't stay on. You have to constantly hold the button down, and the button is in an awkward place that makes that very non-ergonomic to have to do that. I suppose if you're placing ABs, there usually aren't that many, but that, and it was supposed to have a 3-placer tip in it, which I did not get. I did contact the company and ask them to send me the replacement part. I did hear back from them, and they offered to give me a partial refund instead of sending me the part. And I just said, no, that's not what I want. So I think I'm just going to end up returning it. It's not something that I see myself using on a regular basis. It's heavy, it's clunky, it's awkward, it's noisy, and I just don't see myself using it that often. I thought about buying the one with the cord because the people that have that one said that it does stay on. You don't have to hold the button down or anything, but you do have to single place it. And you have to use the pink pen with that one, which I don't like. However, if any of you are interested, there are people on Etsy and other places that are making hollow pens, hollow turned pens. So they're more like regular diamond painting pens like this one, but they're hollow all the way through, so you can use them with the vacuum hose if you are so inclined. I have no idea how much they cost, but I know several people told me that you could get them. I also had several people tell me that it appears, just from the comments anyway, that anybody who ordered the same one that I did, nobody got the 3-placer tip. My guess is probably that it isn't a strong enough suction to actually pick up 3 drills at a time, so they just ended up taking out the 3-placer. I'm assuming because they'd rather offer you a discount on the 3-placer for not having the part than have a bad review because it doesn't work with the 3-placer. And I mean, I'm not going to leave them a bad review. It does what it says. It works. It's just super awkward and not something I'm interested in. But to be honest, like I said, I don't think I would buy the corded one anyway because I don't really have trouble with ABs. There are lots of things that you can do when you're working with ABs that don't have to cost a lot of extra money. I'll link to a video up at the top that I did on different things that you can do to work with ABs. And it's entirely up to you and how you work, what's going to work best for you. I am perfectly happy using my putty and my glue dots. I don't really have all that much trouble with ABs. Sometimes if there are a lot of them, I will dig out my pretty placer, my wax crayon, or I will use the sponge trick with my putty. But unless it's a kit that has a lot of ABs like that teacup one did, I usually don't have any problems because there's just not enough of them to make a difference. But you may work differently. Also, I much rather multi-place than single place. So having to use that pen to only single place everything is not what I would want to do either. But I know there are lots of you out there that only like to single place. So again, everybody works differently. You have to figure out what works best for you. Sometimes, unfortunately, it's just trial and error. So that's part of what I'm trying to do is do some trial and error stuff so that you guys don't have to waste your money. And there were several of you who said that you'd been thinking about buying that vacuum pen, and after my unboxing, you were glad you hadn't. So if I saved you guys some money, hey, awesome. So what else is going on? Oh, I did yesterday's video. If you haven't seen that, hit that subscribe button and then go check it out. Yesterday, I decided I was going to revive my Stay or Go series because I did this series last year and I had, I think, 10 different ones. And some of the ones in that series I have already let go of, donated them or sent them on to somebody else that would enjoy them, whatever. And I got rid of some of those, let go of some of those before we left the States. And I thought I had whittled down my stash to basically things that I was sure that I was going to do. But after moving everything into the rental and then having to pack everything up and move it into this house, I have just come across some kits that I'm like, am I really ever going to get to this one? I don't think I have 10 more of those, but I do have at least probably 3 or 4 that I plan on doing in that series again this year. So if you're interested in that, keep an eye out. I try to only do one of those a month because I don't want to bombard people with them. Plus, that gives me a chance to try and do some other things. Keep whittling down that stash. I want to kit up my spangler for this quarter, which I have not done yet, so I need to get that done. But I haven't kitted it up yet because I already have 2 WIPs going. I have this one that I'm working on, which is my Bubblegum Girl from Bella Safina. And then I have my Midnight Warrior, which is one of my craftables that I've been working on. I am obviously not even close to being done with the Bella Safina here. It's going pretty quick when I sit down and actually work on it, but this is my upstairs kit, and I just spend more time downstairs. I am maybe close to halfway done with the Midnight Warrior kit, but I have not been working on that as much as I would like either. I have my little desk in the living room that I have been using so I can be in there while hubby is watching TV, but that diamond painting got too big. I had it rolled up to start with, but it got to be too big to kind of fit nicely on the desk, and I didn't want it to get any creases, so I moved it to the dining room table. And I have worked on it a couple of days, but not near as much as I need to. I am staring down the barrel of April with almost nothing to show for it. Well, when I do my goals update, I probably am going to have nothing to show for it unless I really spend some serious time diamond painting over the next 2 or 3 days. This one is going a bit faster because there's more confetti. No, there's more multi-placing in this one. The other one is more confetti heavy, but I'm further along on the other one, so I feel like I should put my effort into the other one because I have a shot of getting it done because I'm so much further along. So we'll see if I have anything finished, because so far for April, I have finished nothing, which is super frustrating for me. I don't think that has happened since I started diamond painting, that I didn't have at least one thing completed in a month. Maybe it has. Wait, now that I say that, did I have a month last year? Maybe with the move and everything, maybe there was a month with that I didn't get stuff done. I don't know now. But it's frustrating no matter the reason. I mean, I know why I don't have things done. We've just had a lot going on, as you can imagine, but I just need to buckle down and focus on what I need to do. So I have these 2 WIPs going. I still have my Dreamer Design Snowman to do. I have it kitted up now. So I didn't want to kit up the Spangler yet. I'm going to be a month into this quarter and not even have it kitted up, much less have it finished. I still have 2 months to finish the Spangler, but at this rate, that isn't going to happen. And I have been putting in hours, just not as many as I need to, so we'll see where I end up. I considered opening another kit just because I want to try the tray brick trays that I have. I have 10 of those with lids, and I have, I think I said 20 of the cat-eared ones with lids, and then I've got a few odds and ends of other companies like Bella Art and some other ones floating around that have lids that I could use. And try the tower method again and see if that helps me speed things up. But then someone sent me a message. I think it was Jasmine. So hello, Jasmine. Thank you for the info. The Forever Young set, which I think I heard about it a while ago, but just forgot about it. I didn't order it at the time because I think I had just gotten the cat-eared, and so I didn't order any. But it actually has one that you could order that basically comes with all the trays and the tower together. And I think it's like 60 trays, which would be enough. And it's not that expensive, even Canadian. So I might get that and do some tower testing method with those. Because I really like the size of my cat-eared trays. I use them the most. But the plastic lids that come with them, they're flexible, so they fit down over the tray, which is good, but it feels like it takes so much longer than just like unscrewing the top off the bottle or opening my Elizabeth Wards or whatever. It probably doesn't take any longer, but it feels like it does. So anyway, I may be trying those, but I would like to try the tray bricks and see how they work. But I just haven't wanted to open anything else until I finish a couple of kits because my brain is already overwhelmed with the number of things I have going on. I don't want to add something else to it. I'll cause myself to have a meltdown, and that will not be good. So yeah, I'm just going to take some rainy days like this and try to focus on, okay, I'm going to stay in the house. I'm going to turn on some podcasts, a couple of my true crime podcasts that I'm behind on, get caught up with those. Maybe watch some videos while I'm diamond painting, or listen to some videos while I'm diamond painting, and just try to get some stuff done. Be productive. We need to go do our grocery shopping, so that's still on the agenda. Hubby will be visiting his dad today, and then we'll see what happens next week with the dentist and all that fun stuff. Oh, one last thing, you guys. I don't know if you guys saw this or not. I think this got mailed out to Dreamer Designs VIP group, which I think I'm in because I got the email. I don't know if it went out to everybody or not, but they have basically designed a logbook app. It sounded cool. I probably won't use it. I'd much prefer my analog paper and pencil logbook. I just like writing stuff down. It seems to make it stick in my brain longer if I write it down. But their app, it said for a premium access, which I'm guessing is probably code for it's going to cost a subscription every month or something. And I don't think it has released yet. They're just telling people. I don't know if this is a beta test thing. They're looking for people, but anyway, it said you would be able to scan in the barcode, only of Dreamer Design kits, obviously, but scan in the barcode and would upload all the information on the kit for you. So the size, the type of drill, the number of drills, the image, all that kind of stuff that whatever the app includes, it'll preload it all for you just from the barcode on the box. I think it said barcode. Somehow it'll all load it. So even only doing Dreamer Designs kits, that's kind of cool. And then it said you'd be able to track number of hours worked, number of drills placed, lots of other stuff. It sounded cool. So if any of you are interested in that, let me know your thoughts. Has anybody else seen or heard anything about it? Has anybody tested it out? Like I said, I much prefer my analog tracking, but just thought I'd mention it in case any of you were interested. Okay, so I finished my first row along the bottom of this. I'm actually liking it. I like the green. You can see this little piece of her arm right here. The background is on the left-hand side that I already completed. So now I can move on and move up to where all of my new fancy, thicker cover sheets are, and I can start working on that next. This one is going to remain my upstairs kit. I really want to try and finish the Craftably one first, so I'm going to concentrate on that one. All right, I think that's it for me today, guys. Sorry for the long rambling train of thought. I did make some notes, so hopefully it all made sense. Thanks so much for hanging around till the end of the video. Before you leave, don't forget to do all the things. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and hit that bell notification icon so that you can be informed of future uploads. And as always, guys, thanks so much for watching.